saltwater steam billows off a cast-iron Dutch oven, carrying the unmistakable scent of rendered pork fat, ocean brine, and bruised thyme. New England clam chowder is not merely soup. It is a thermal barrier against the Atlantic winter, engineered over centuries by coastal fishing families. A proper chowder demands meticulous layering, from the briny liquor of fresh quagogs to the slow-rendered salt pork base and the delicate tempering of dairy. We are dismantling the shortcuts and building this masterpiece from the seabed up. Joining me are two masters of the Northeast Coast, Chef Tommy from the deep fishing port of New Bedford, Massachusetts, and Chef Maggie, whose down east Maine roots dictate a strict adherence to chowder law. Tommy, walk us through the foundation.
The foundation is the clam liquor. You need 2.2 kilograms, or 5 pounds, of live cherrystone or quahog clams. Scrub them relentlessly under cold water. Drop them into a heavy pot with 480 milliliters, or 2 cups of cold water. Cover it tight and set to medium-high heat, about 190 degrees Celsius, or 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Steam them for exactly 8 minutes until the shells pop open. Do not overcook, or they turn to rubber. Strain the resulting broth through cheesecloth to catch the grit and save every drop. Remove the clam meat from the shells and chop it into 1 centimeter or 0.4-inch pieces. Set the meat aside in the fridge.
With the broth secured, we build the flavor base. Take 170 grams, or 6 ounces, of salt pork, not bacon, salt pork. Dice it fine and render it in a heavy Dutch oven over medium-low heat, exactly 160 degrees Celsius or 320 degrees Fahrenheit. Let it render for 12 minutes until the fat pools and the pork bits are crispy and golden. Scoop out the crispy bits and leave the liquid fat. Immediately add 300 grams, or 10.5 ounces, of diced yellow onions and 150 grams, or 5.
Now we thicken. Sprinkle 40 grams, or a quarter cup, of all-purpose flour directly over the sweated vegetables. Stir constantly for 2 minutes over medium heat, around 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, to cook out the raw flour taste and form a blind roux. Gradually whisk in your reserved clam liquor. The starch will bind with the liquor immediately. Once smooth, fold in 680 grams, or 1.5 pounds, of peeled, half-inch diced Yukon Gold potatoes. Bring the pot to a gentle simmer, cover it, and let it cook for exactly 15 minutes until the potatoes are tender but not disintegrating.
Here is where most home cooks ruin the pot. Lower the stove heat to 82 degrees Celsius or 180 degrees Fahrenheit. The liquid must never boil from this point forward. Stir in 470 milliliters or 2 cups of heavy cream, followed by 240 milliliters or 1 cup of whole milk. Fold the chopped clam meat back into the pot. Heat everything gently for 5 minutes. Then pull the pot entirely off the stove, cover it tight, and let it rest for 30 minutes. This resting phase marries the fats and the brine. It is strictly non-negotiable.
While the chowder rests, we bake proper oyster crackers. In a food processor, pulse 240 grams, or 2 cups, of flour, 10 grams, or 2 teaspoons, of baking powder, and 115 grams, or 4 ounces, of cold cubed butter until crumbly. Stream in 120 milliliters, or a half cup, of ice water. Roll the dough out to 3 millimeters, or 0.12 inches thick. Cut out small hexagons. Bake on a parchment-lined sheet at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 14 minutes until golden brown. Store-bought crackers are an acceptable alternative, but baking them from scratch elevates the entire bowl.
Let us address the regional blasphemies. Manhattan chowder uses tomatoes, which is practically illegal in Maine. Rhode Island uses a clear broth, but true New England chowder is white, thick, and rich. The most common mistake is boiling the cream. At 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit, the dairy proteins seize and curdle, leaving you with a grainy, separated mess. Keep it below 82 degrees Celsius or 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Finally, season with white pepper, not black. Black pepper leaves unappealing dark specks in your pristine white cream base. Garnish with those
3 non-negotiable rules for an authentic New England clam chowder. First, steam your own clams for exactly 8 minutes and filter the briny liquor to use as your liquid foundation. Second, build your flavor base by rendering real salt pork for 12 minutes, not bacon, to achieve that deep, authentic salinity. Third, once the dairy is incorporated, keep the temperature strictly below 82 degrees Celsius or 180 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent curdling, and rest the soup off heat for 30 minutes before serving. Grab your homemade oyster crackers and dig in.